Hi, I'm Patrick with previews of the week's traffic stopping soap plots. You're taking a big risk making a fool of dastardly Derek Branning, but that's exactly what Roxy does when he wades into a row between her and Jack. Then Roxy steals Derek's phone and cottons onto his dodgy booze scam and tells Alfie she's going to steal the lot. Meanwhile, Derek suggests that he and Jack make sure he has access to Amy by hiring a hitman to scare her into compliance. But Roxy should be very worried when hitman Andy turns up on a doorstep after Derek's learned that she's stolen all his liquor. Jack is furious when Shirley tells him that Roxy's gone missing and he attacks Derek before going off in search of his ex. But all is not quite what it seems. Max is frustrated when he takes an afternoon off to spend with Tanya, but she can't go further than a kiss. So when Roxy comes onto him, he's sorely tempted. And Anthony and Amira become close after he helps her out on the stall. She initially resists his charms, but he's very persistent. He cleans the house and gets a DVD of The Lady and the Tramp. How could she possibly resist? Lewis is determined to prove he's turned over a new leaf, and he turns up in the street with an apology for Audrey and $4 grand for Peter. Then he tells her to drive him to the nearest police station, where he confesses his crime, is arrested, then released on bail. Do leeches ever really change their spots? Audrey is highly doubtful. She's partially persuaded when he sends her a huge bouquet, and she finds him living in a shabby bedsit, determined to settle his debts. Katie makes another poor decision when she leaves Joseph with Faye while she heads out, but Faye almost burns the place down when she locks herself out. Katie admits it's not the first time she's gone out without a baby, which infuriates Owen, and he tells them they're not fit to be parents. But his anger backfires and she later runs away. Eventually, she gets back in contact with Ches and her family beg her to come home, pledging their support. And Carla gives in to temptation when Frank ruins her chances of a new contract. But her drinking leads her to manhandle Simon when he plays up. Finally, we're in the Dales. Declan Macy's plans to turn Emmerdale into the new Glastonbury hit a hurdle when Adam Barton's furious when he asks him for access through Butler's farm. He's more preoccupied with burying his father. And Nicola and Charity both fancy being festival manager, so are seriously peeved when he introduces his choice, his half-sister Megan. You probably recognise the face, but Katie's not quite so keen on a mug and the pair are soon true frenemies. But Megan works a persuasive magic on Adam. Then Carl takes a shine to her and she sees an opportunity to use his ardour. But it's Bob who she really warms to. What is it with this woman? All that Declan wants to know is whether she'll take the job or not. Cameron's had enough of the whole sordid arrangement and tells Debbie he just can't take it anymore and heads off to Emmerdale's heartbreak hotel, the B&B. Not only that, but he's returning to Jersey. Debbie begs, pleads and implores with him to stay, and reluctantly he agrees, but only if Andy stays away. That leaves Debbie in a tough position, especially after Andy's jettisoned from a party for Sarah. Debbie later secretly apologises to him, but I can't see this ending well.